This is Amanda Brookover with Stimulated Recall number 2.
Amanda Brookover with her interpretation of the Tom Snyder and Deborah Tannen parts.
Not only what we say, but how we say it, and lately it seems we as a nation and as a people have become more argumentative than ever before. Shows like Crossfire, even Jerry Springer have moved conversations, dialogue, and debate.
I can see that I'm already getting a little bit behind. Apparent concentration on the face while fingerspelling. I like that I tried to place the two main people. I get confused on the words of the actual conversation. Not thinking of the big conversation, or the big picture, excuse me.
Yeah, we're good at putting out heat, but not very good at putting out light in some of these controversial issues.
Yeah, I mean, the danger with always having the polarized views is that most people are somewhere in the middle. But
yeah, we're a centrist nation.
That's right, and you don't see that, and then it actually affects how people relate to each other. They see this, they see the model of approaching everybody as your enemy, and then you get road rage and all kinds of other, I have a business proposition, or I have talked to somebody on the phone, and you realize how much more often now people will be treating you as an adversary.
Now, in putting together the book that you have here tonight, the argument...
My lag time is increasing.
You tape conversations and you study them. How do you do that? I mean, you tape people and where...
I fingerspelled adversary.
I am a sociolinguist.
Okay.
I tape record conversations that I just happen to be part of. I wrote a proposal.
Some words I didn't know signs to or how to explain. I tried to fingerspell. I got confused on what word I was trying to say and didn't want to miss any more of the message.
I studied the transcript. I studied dinner table conversations, conversations among husbands and wives, partners, gay partners.
And you were on the up and up. Everybody knew they were being taped, right?
People always know that they're being taped. I don't believe in taping people without letting them know.
And what did you find out about conversation after listening to all these tapes? What are styles of conversation, the method of conversation, direct conversation?
I didn't know how to explain style of conversation.
So my mission as a sociolinguist is to point out how you speak can often affect what goes on in that conversation.
I confused my sign for psychology.
The wife told me, my husband doesn't think I can tell a story myself. We go out somewhere and I start telling a story and he starts trying to tell it for me. He's taking it over from me. And it's such a sign of disrespect to me. And I said, well, that could be the case. But he may have a conversational style. Maybe it's from the East Coast, maybe a certain ethnic background. What he believes, this is a way of showing that I'm on your side. It's
being supportive.
I'm being supportive. Okay. And it's kind of like, it's a conversational duet. Together we're going to play the same song. And I said, you really have to think about conversational style to understand how he means it before you draw the conclusion that...
Did she understand what you were...
Well, she did.
Saying?
Yeah,
The dialogue between the two people is more rapid than I expected.
You're from New York, right?
I am.
New York girl, okay? And I'm a California guy. I mean, I've lived here for most of my life, my adult life, although I spent 10 years in New York, which I love dearly.
And my husband's...
Trying to get the small comments in, I struggled with.
The New York versus California conversation, how do they differ?
Well, in some ways I have to say that...
I get confused husband and wife there.
But typical thing that would happen between a Californian and a New Yorker, you, the Californian, gets the feeling that the New Yorker is interrupting you. And you start thinking, gee, you only want to hear yourself talk.
Right.
Because you're waiting for that nice long pause so that you know my turn is up and it's your turn to begin. But for me, that pause starts to feel uncomfortable. And I want to be a good conversationalist, so I'm going to fill in that
I like my facial expressions there.
conversation going.
So you don't want any dead air, do you?
Well, New Yorkers, and not just New Yorkers, I mean, this
East
could
Coast,
be,
right?
could be East Coast, it could be, could be French, German, people from parts of the world where conversation is fast-paced. Anytime there's a difference in a sense of pacing, the person waiting for the longer pause is going to get interrupted.
My fingerspelling of pace
This
was messed up.
that took place at a Thanksgiving dinner.
At this point, my video stopped. I thought I was going to continue. So I tried to play it again from where I started.
The longer pause is going to get interrupted. Another thing, this was at a real conversation that took place at a Thanksgiving dinner. I was the New Yorker, I admit, trying to have a conversation with someone who worked at Walt Disney here in Los Angeles. And I was trying to be friendly. So I asked a lot of questions. You from LA? What do you do there?
Fingerspelling Walt Disney was there. I don't know if there's a sign name for it.
Just trying it.
Just a conversation will break the ice, as it were,
But
right?
what happened was the opposite of what I expected, because it was the way I was saying it. See, the high pitch, the fast pacing, kind of clipped way of saying it.
Yeah, it's almost
Isn't that
like
right?
you're machine gunning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He felt it as machine gun questions. That's what I call it.
And was intimidated by it, right?
Yeah, so he backed off and was kind of hesitant. He said, "No, I work for Disney," like as if he didn't even know the place that he worked. And I thought I had asked more questions.
Taking on the role of that man looked good.
Shut up. I would have answered. You know, there you knew
No, I had to
you
say
were
we're still friends.
all right. You know, I remember. Would you tell me where the Empire State Building is, or should I just go? Not tonight. Soon. Yeah. Let's take a little break here in the festivities. Deborah Tannen is the guest. Her book is called The Argument Culture. When we come back, you want the toll-free as time permits, and more of that thing you love. Now these messages.
I'm trying to figure out what to say to catch up and get all the information I can. First break.
Dusty on the toll-free in Towner, North Dakota. Hi, Dusty, and welcome to CBS Late Night.
Hi, my question is, how does tone affect the conversation that you're having?
Big time.
In that example I gave before, that high-pitched tone, spell it, had one meaning to a person from the East Coast, which is, this is casual. You can answer if you feel like it. If you don't feel like it, you don't have to answer. It could be misinterpreted as disrespect. Just trying to be so clipped that I'm not even taking the time to talk to you. And this happens in conversations between people, say, from the East and from the South.
I'm starting to pick up a lag time trying to get all the information I can, even if it is a little bit more English.
What lets you know that you want somebody to do something. Let me tell an example of a conversation. This took place between husband and wife. They're driving along in the car, and the wife turns to the husband and says, "Are you thirsty? Would you like to stop for a drink?" And he wasn't thirsty, so he said no. Then it later turned out she was annoyed at him because she wanted to stop. And he thought, well, am I supposed to be a mind reader? And I said, no. She didn't expect a yes, no answer. Would you like to stop for a drink? She thought that the answer would be something like, I don't know, how do you feel about it? And then he could say, well, I don't know how do you
Trying to get the concept across is more English than ASL, I'm noticing, at the longer I go through.
What did you have for dinner? And she'll say, well, the woman at the next table had on the most beautiful dress. And they go, what are we talking about here? I said,
The man's,
the question, why is that such
the two people's speed of conversation is a lot faster than I thought it would be.
What could be more simple than what did you have for dinner?
Well, my guess is she's thinking, well, let's just have a free
Maybe
flowing
she wanted a book
conversation.
called You're Not Listening or something.
You just don't
You
understand.
just don't understand.
Women and men in conversation.
Yeah.
And the role of conversation is often different for women and for men. So for many women, you come home at the end of the day and you just tell everything that happened and what's on your mind, who you met, what that made you think, and it may be kind of free associating, which is why maybe your wife thought of the table and thought of what the person at the next table was wearing. And then she might turn to you and say, how was your day? And then the man might say something like, oh, same old rat race.
No, I just said, it was fine.
It was fine. It was fine. And she feels,
How could it not be fine?
she writes, but you don't tell me anything. You don't want to tell.
Hard to get the little side comments in.
Suit up, get on here, select the question, get on here, go home. Have a couple of drinks. It's the same every day.
But then you go out to dinner, and you're sitting at the dinner table with a whole group of people, and suddenly you tell this amusing story about what happened to you.
I try to throw in some ASL concept with classifiers throughout this message.
The conference room with no windows with the people I work with. We watch Wheel of Fortune.
I fingerspell Wheel of Fortune.
Some old Tom from Milwaukee who gets a kick out of doing TV programs.
They're not typical, but it happens in that
I understand.
all of them.
I fingerspell Milwaukee. I'm not sure if there's a sign for that city.
Is there a man in your life?
Yes, I am happily married.
Very good. Do you and your husband sometimes have trouble conversing with each other?
Every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, just an innocent thing, you know, it happens.
Yeah. I'll tell you another one that's really common,
Okay.
women and men, and I don't
My row changing gets confused when I become the caller, and then back to Deborah Tannen.
well, something happened and this really bothered me. And if a man, and this will often happen, he will come in and tell her how to fix it. And often the woman feels, first of all, if you're telling me how to fix it, you're fine, I can't fix my own.
The use of enter is not, I don't think that's the correct way to use it.
If you move in right away and tell me how to fix it, that cuts short the conversation. And the idea is to get the conversation going. So the role of conversation in keeping us close is really essential to women's friendships. And for men,
I get confused on where to start. I lose some information.
doing things together, loyalty. You know, if there's something wrong, I know he's going to be there.
You're right, though. Men don't talk amongst themselves as women do.
Not the same way.
No,
Not the
we
same way.
will go bowling together or play golf together or softball or handball or basketball. It's doing things together rather than being with the other person, the other guy, and talking with him about
I try to get all his points and specific details in.
so little to talk about.
Well, you might talk about computers, you might talk about cars, you might talk about sports.
Well, there are some things we do talk about.
And this gets back to my new book, The Argument Culture, which is that often men will playfully
She references her book. Maybe I could set up the book earlier in the interpretation.
my work in the workplace. If a woman talked about another woman's clothing, it was usually a compliment.
I wasn't sure how to explain this part of the passage because English is different than ASL with the cattiness or non-cattiness.
How'd you that come? How much you trying to put on?
Or, you know, where'd you get that done? Looks like your breakfast is still on it. You know, and so it can be a way of showing affection, but it's using opposition or kind of a playful fighting as a way of doing something that's not fighting. And that's, in a sense, when I talk about the argument culture, that's what I'm talking about, a kind of a ritual fighting. It's more common among
Leslie, I'm glad you called. How many souls live in Towner, North Dakota, my friend?
How many people live in Towner?
Who are you asking me?
I'm asking my husband.
I try to use the break as a catch-up period.
Wow.
Around there.
Wow. Do they have any like stores there, or is it just?
Oh yeah, they have a store and little shops here and there.
Very, very good.
A fingerspell shop to different store and a shop.
Minot,
Oh, sure.
Bismarck.
I don't know where Minot or Bismarck are,
I was also going to tell you.
so I fingerspell them.
Dog killed. Put it in some peanut butter because that's what my vet told me.
Well, my vet told me
I
that.
found this little detail very distracting because it didn't relate to the earlier conversations.
Anyway, I'm glad you called. Have a great summer. I hope to talk to you again, okay? Okay, we'll be right back and continue chatting here with Deborah Tannen, who is the author of a book called The Argument Culture. And you on the toll-free as time permits now. These messages.
I appreciate this second break in the dialogue.
With Deborah Tannen, here is Marianne on the toll-free in Leamington, Ontario. Hi, Marianne. It's Tom, and you're on the air. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, how does eye contact and facial expressions, such as smiling a lot, affect the conversation?
You know, you may expect me to say that eye contact is really important, but this is another thing that changes with conversational style. So there are some people who feel you really have to be looking at a person to show that you're listening, and then there are other people who actually won't be looking because they
I was trying to get the concept here. Not really sure if I grasp it
distracted.
pretty well or not.
The important thing is to know the conversational style of the person you're talking to realize whether they're
Again, fingerspelling of style because I don't know how to describe it.
If you look at them all through a conversation, they would be
you're
like
bearing in on them.
or staring at them. So you try to look away for a second to give a little relief, as it were. What else, Marianne?
Oh, I just find this conversation very fascinating, and
Yeah, thank you.
just interested in like facial expression. I'm a very happy, smiley person, and I wondered how that affects conversation.
It helps
affect and change, I don't know if those are interchangeable. I will need to research that later.
Here we are.
An awkward pause causes me to show the laughter of the audience and the speakers.
To say, oh, cheer up, it's not so bad.
Right, right.
And think we're angry if we're not smiling, and men are less likely to have that expectation.
Marianne. Okay. Take care, young lady, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye. Oprah Winfrey, as you write, changed the face.
My finger spelling here
Article in Time
is
magazine.
not up to par, trying to catch all the information that I can. I don't know if Oprah Winfrey has a sign name or not.
You see what just happened? What did Oprah Winfrey bring to talk
I'm going
television?
to tell you what she added.
And you said, Phil Donahue.
Establish or set up, I think I used the wrong sign.
Wrong with a microphone.
That's right. So she didn't pioneer that format. What she brought to it was involving the audience in a personal way. She made it confessional.
I move on
Remember I said
and
earlier that
change Oprah Winfrey to OW.
Now, so many women feel that Oprah is their friend because she reveals things about herself. I really saw this after You Just Don't Understand was published. I was on both
I missed the
shows.
information and tried to improv what I think I've heard.
The producers for Donahue really tried to focus on the information. There were certain points they wanted to get
Right,
out
get
from the
points
book,
from the book, right.
and they would come out during the break and say, make sure you tell this one, make sure you tell that one. When I was on Oprah, first I was a little bit surprised that she wasn't getting that much information from me, and then I realized what she was doing was drawing out
I go back to just fingerspell her first name.
couples on.
I get confused on the information that's being said.
They were really more the point of that.
And see internal monologuing,
Expert, although it was my book that had brought up the
or
topic.
internal processing, excuse me.
Revolutionized talk television. It was the confessional aspect. Get real people up, have them talk about their lives, and Oprah has a real gift for empathy.
No question about it. I've seen her break out in tears when something happens.
Sign for empathy, I'm not sure I used pity.
So was telling me how
It doesn't demonstrate the same thing.
captured something she had experienced in her life was different. And just, here's the
I have maintained most of the role shifts between Deborah and Tom.
own experience, and that creates that connection with the audience.
Do you know what else she does? She exposes her vulnerabilities.
That's
You
right.
know, and she's very frank about her failings and shortcomings as much as she touts her strengths. She's very honest about her shortcomings and where she feels vulnerable in her life.
And that is what I call troubles talk. That is so much part of women's friendships. I tell you my problems, you tell me yours. And again, I was contrasting that where sometimes a woman is frustrated when she's telling a problem to a man, thinking he's going to reply with his problem, and instead he replies with a solution.
I'm losing the concept and gearing toward more English again.
I have the same problem.
So what's the answer in 10 seconds or less?
Understand that there are conversational style differences, and sometimes the adversarial approach is not going to be the best one.
No, as a matter of fact, as my father always said in the conversation, never put your opponent in a position in which he or she cannot gracefully retreat. Deborah, I thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a joy. Thank you. Deborah Tannen.
I didn't know how to interpret what his father said to him.
On the government. We'll be right back. Speaking of time bombs, to tell you about tomorrow night's show.
Meant to say take off, not from. I finished with saying thank you for being here.